There's a secret that ancient samurai guarded more fiercely than their own combat techniques. It wasn't about how to wield the katana, nor about battle strategies. It was about something far more powerful, the power of silent transformation. While common warriors announced their intentions and proclaimed their goals to the world, the true masters disappeared into the shadows. They retreated to the mountains, to isolated temples, and there, far from all eyes, they transformed completely. When they returned, no one recognized them. Not by appearance, but by the energy they carried. There's a Japanese proverb that few know. The sharpest sword is the one no one sees being forged. For 60 days, while the blacksmith works the incandescent metal, no one witnesses the process. Only the final result impresses. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to apply this ancient philosophy to your life. How to strategically disappear, rebuild yourself in absolute silence, and return as someone everyone will want to ask, "What happened to you?" Every morning, before the sun touched the horizon, the samurai would wake in complete darkness. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. This was his first act of rebellion against the ordinary world. While everyone else slept, comfortable in their routines, he was already moving, already changing, already becoming. This ritual wasn't about discipline in the way most people think. It was about creating a sacred space where no one could touch you. No opinions, no judgments, no eyes watching your every move. In that darkness, you belong only to yourself. The warrior understood something crucial. Transformation needs privacy like a seed needs soil. Expose it too early, and it dies before it can grow. Think about what happens when you tell everyone about your plans. Your mind tricks you into feeling like you've already accomplished something. That rush of excitement when people say, "That's amazing" or "good for you," gives you a false sense of progress. The ancient masters knew this trap well. They called it the poison of praise. It makes you weak before you've even started. So the first step is simple but brutal. Cut the noise. Delete the apps that make you want to share every thought. Stop posting updates about your journey. Stop talking about what you're going to do. The moment you announce your transformation, you've already lost half the battle. Your energy leaks out through your words, and what's left isn't enough to fuel real change. Instead, create your own morning ritual. It doesn't matter what it is. 5 minutes of sitting in silence, 10 push-ups, a cold shower, reading one page of something that makes you think. The content matters less than the consistency. What you're really building is a promise to yourself that no one else knows about. This secret commitment becomes your foundation. During these 60 days, you'll feel the urge to share. It will come in waves. You'll want to post that workout photo, that book you're reading, that new habit you're building. Your finger will hover over the share button. This is the test. Every time you resist, you get stronger. Every time you keep it to yourself, you're adding another layer to your armor. The invisible warrior moves through the world like water. People see him, but they don't really notice him. He's not trying to be mysterious or cool. He's simply conserving his energy for what matters. While others spend hours crafting the perfect post about their goals, he's actually doing the work. While they argue in comments about the best way to change, he's already 3 steps ahead. This phase feels lonely sometimes. You'll watch others get likes and comments and attention for announcing their plans. Let them have it. That attention is their reward, and it's the only reward they'll get. Your reward comes later, and it's so much bigger that they won't even understand how you did it. The invisible warrior knows that silence isn't empty. It's full of potential, full of power, full of everything that words would only waste. Now that you've established your private space, the real work begins. Picture the blacksmith's forge, hidden away in a small workshop where nobody wanders by accident. The heat is intense. The work is hard. The metal doesn't care about your feelings or your excuses. It either bends or it breaks, and that depends entirely on how you handle it. Your 60 days work the same way. Each day is a hammer strike. Each choice is applying heat or cold at exactly the right moment. Miss too many strikes, and the metal cools down, returning to its original shape. You're back where you started, Except now you're more tired and less hopeful. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. The forge doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent and away from the crowd. The reason most people fail at change isn't because they're weak or lazy. It's because they're doing it in public. Imagine trying to forge a sword in the middle of a busy marketplace. Everyone has an opinion. Someone says you're hitting too hard. Another says you're not hot enough. A third person tells you about this amazing technique they heard about but never tried. Before you know it, you're not forging anything. You're performing. This is why the 60-day silence is sacred. During this time, you're not accountable to anyone's timeline but your own. You can fail on day 12 and nobody knows. You can struggle on day 27 and nobody sees. You can have a breakthrough on day 41 and nobody dilutes it with their reactions. Every stumble, every victory, every lesson stays with you and makes you stronger instead of becoming content for others to consume. Start treating your daily actions like a blacksmith treats each strike. Intentional, focused, building towards something specific. Wake up and ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? Not 3 things. Not a list of 10 goals. One thing. Do it before you check your phone. Do it before you talk to anyone. Do it while the world is still quiet. The beauty of working in private is that you can experiment without fear. Want to try waking up at 5 in the morning? Do it. Hate it? Change it. No one's watching, so there's no embarrassment. Want to start running but you're slow and out of shape? Perfect. Run where nobody sees you. Want to read books that might seem weird or different? Read them. Your forge. Your rules. Here's something powerful that happens around day 30. You stop needing validation. The work itself becomes the reward. That cold shower in the morning? It's not for a story anymore. It's because you like who you're becoming when you do hard things. That early workout? It's not content, it's a conversation between you and your limits. That book you're reading? It's not a prop for a photo, it's changing how you think. The forge strips away everything fake. In the heat and the repetition and the solitude, you can't pretend anymore. You either show up or you don't. The metal either changes or it stays the same. There's no audience to fool, which means there's no reason to fool yourself. This honesty is brutal at first, but it becomes your greatest teacher. By the time you reach day 60, you won't recognize the person who started this journey. Not because you'll look completely different, but because you'll feel completely different. The forge will have burned away the parts of you that needed an audience to exist. What's left is solid, tested, and real. And the best part? Nobody saw it happen, which means nobody can take credit for it but you. Something strange starts happening around week 5 or 6. People begin to notice that you're different, even though you haven't said a word about what you're doing. They can't put their finger on it, but something has shifted. You carry yourself differently. Your eyes look clearer. Your energy feels more contained, more focused. This is when silence starts doing the talking for you. The ancient warriors called this the aura of discipline. It's not mystical or magical. It's simply what happens when someone stops leaking energy through constant talking and starts building it through consistent action. Every word you don't say, every update you don't post, every explanation you don't give adds to this quiet power. People feel it even if they can't explain it. Watch what happens in your daily interactions during this phase. Colleagues at work start asking if something good happened to you. Friends comment that you seem more calm or more confident. Family members notice you're less reactive, less scattered. None of them know about your 60-day journey because you haven't mentioned it. Yet they're responding to the change anyway. This is the magic of letting your actions speak. Meanwhile, your discipline is compounding in ways you didn't expect. That book you've been reading every morning, you've finished 3 or 4 by now. Those workouts you've been doing in private, your body has completely adapted. That skill you've been practicing when no one's watching, you're actually getting good at it. All of this happened quietly, steadily, without fanfare or applause. But here's where most people mess up. Right when silence is working its magic, they get tempted to break it. The results are starting to show, and the urge to share becomes almost unbearable. Don't. This is the final test. The warrior who breaks silence too early is like the blacksmith who pulls the sword from the fire before it's ready. All that work, all that heat, and the metal is still soft inside. Instead, use this phase to go even deeper. If you've been waking up at 6, try 5:30. If you've been reading 10 pages, try 15. If you've been working out 3 times a week, add a 4th day. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about riding the momentum. You're strong enough now to push further, and the silence protects you from the pressure of expectations. Notice how your relationship with yourself changes during this time. You stop needing constant feedback because you're developing an internal compass. You know when you're slacking because you feel it, not because someone called you out. You know when you're improving because the work gets easier or harder in the right ways. This internal awareness is worth more than 1,000 motivational comments on social media. There's also a natural filtering that happens. People who were used to the old version of you might feel uncomfortable with your silence. They might push you to explain yourself or share what you're up to. These moments reveal who really supports your growth versus who just wants you to stay the same. The warrior doesn't argue or defend. He simply continues walking his path, knowing that some people will understand and others won't. Both are fine. The power of silence at this stage is that it forces others to confront their own choices. When they see you changing without announcements or excuses, it holds up a mirror. Some will be inspired, others will be threatened. Neither reaction is your responsibility. Your only job is to keep moving forward, keep building, keep forging yourself into something stronger. Let your presence do the teaching. Let your consistency do the preaching. Words would only make it smaller. Let's get practical about what actually happens across these 60 days, because understanding the terrain makes the journey less scary. The first 2 weeks are deceptive. You'll feel motivated, excited, ready to conquer the world. Don't trust this feeling. It's just the novelty talking. The real journey hasn't started yet. Weeks 3 and 4 are where most people quit. The excitement fades. The routine feels boring. Your progress seems invisible. You'll wake up one morning and think, what's the point? This is normal. This is expected. This is exactly where the warrior is born. Because here's the secret. Everyone feels this way. The difference is that some people push through the fog and others turn back. Your choice in this moment determines everything. During this rough patch, simplify everything. If your morning routine feels too complicated, cut it in half. If your goals feel overwhelming, focus on just one. The objective isn't to be perfect, it's to not quit. Even if all you do is wake up at your chosen time and sit there for 5 minutes doing nothing, that's a win. You're proving to yourself that you can keep a promise when it's hard. That proof becomes your fuel. Around week 5, something clicks. The habits that felt forced start feeling natural. Your body expects the early wake-up. Your mind craves the quiet time. The work you've been doing begins showing results that you can actually see and feel. This is dangerous too, but for a different reason. Now you'll be tempted to coast, to relax, to reward yourself by easing up. Don't. This is where you press harder. Think of weeks 5 through 8 as the shaping phase. The metal is hot, it's malleable, it's ready to take form. This is when you refine your approach. If something isn't working, adjust it. If something is working well, double down. You have enough experience now to know the difference between pain that means growth and pain that means damage. Trust your judgment. The fascinating thing about this middle period is how time perception changes. The first month might have felt long, each day dragging a bit, but suddenly you'll blink and realize you're at day 45. The consistency creates a flow. You're not thinking about the process anymore. You are the process. The warrior and the training become one. Week 8 brings a subtle confidence that's hard to describe. It's not arrogance or pride. It's more like a quiet knowing. You've done something that most people only talk about. You've stuck with a commitment when nobody was watching or cheering. You've built something real inside yourself. This internal shift is worth more than any external achievement because it can never be taken away. By day 60, You're standing on new ground. The landscape of your life looks different because you're different. The challenges that seemed impossible 2 months ago now feel manageable. The discipline that felt like torture now feels like freedom. You've discovered something that our quick-fix culture tries to hide. Real change takes time, consistency, and silence. There are no shortcuts, but there is a path, and you just walked it. Here's what nobody tells you about reaching day 60. It's not an ending, it's a beginning. You've built the foundation, proven you can do hard things, established habits that serve you. But the real question is what you build on top of this foundation. The 60 days were just the forge. Now you get to decide what kind of weapon you're becoming. And trust me, after 60 days of silent work, you're ready for whatever comes next. Day 61 feels different. You wake up knowing that the silence can finally break. But here's the twist. You might not want it to. After 2 months of working in private, of building without broadcasting, of growing without showing, you've discovered something powerful. You don't need the audience anymore. The work is enough. The change is enough. You are enough. But people will notice. They already have been noticing, but now it becomes undeniable. Your transformation has reached a point where it can't be hidden or ignored. The way you move, speak, choose, respond to situations, it's all different. And because you never announced what you were doing, their curiosity is genuine. They really want to know what changed. Here's where your discipline is tested in a new way. When someone asks what happened, every fiber in your being will want to explain the whole journey. Resist that urge. Give them the simplest answer possible. I've just been working on myself, or I made some changes in my routine. Don't give them the blueprint. Don't share every detail. Let the mystery remain. This isn't about being secretive or superior. It's about protecting what you've built. The moment you over-explain your transformation, you give away its power. You turn something sacred into a casual conversation. You reduce 60 days of silent struggle into a story for entertainment. More importantly, you open yourself up to opinions and judgments about choices that have already proven themselves through your results. Why would you do that? Instead, let your life be the message. Show up differently, handle stress better, make clearer decisions, be more present in conversations, pursue your goals with quiet determination. These actions teach more than any words could. When people see sustained change over time, not just a burst of motivation, that's when they truly pay attention. That's when they start asking themselves if they could do the same thing. Some people will try to diminish what you've accomplished. They'll say you're lucky, or it must be nice to have time for that. Or they could do it too if only their circumstances were different. Let them talk. Their resistance isn't about you. It's about them confronting their own choices. The warrior doesn't defend or debate. He simply continues being proof that change is possible for anyone willing to do the work in silence. Others will be genuinely inspired. They'll want to start their own 60-day journey. If someone asks for advice, give it freely but with one condition. Tell them they can't talk about it. No posts, no updates, no sharing until day 61. Watch their face when you say this. Most will hesitate because they realize they wanted the appearance of change more than the actual work. The few who agree, those are the ones who might actually succeed. Your return isn't about coming back to who you were before. It's about integrating who you've become with the world around you. You're not the same person who started this journey. You've shed layers of need for approval, fear of judgment, and addiction to validation. What remains is more solid, more grounded, more real. This version of you doesn't need to announce anything because it simply exists with power. The beautiful irony is that by staying silent about your transformation, you create more impact than any amount of posting or sharing ever could. Your quiet confidence becomes louder than someone else's desperate proclamations. Your sustained change speaks volumes compared to someone's repeated attempts and explanations. You become living proof that the best transformations happen away from the spotlight. As you move forward from day 60, carry the lessons of silence with you. You don't need to stay completely quiet forever, but you'll be more selective about what you share and why. You'll understand that some things are meant to be private, that not every achievement needs an audience, that your worth isn't measured by likes or comments or other people's approval. This wisdom will serve you for the rest of your life. The ancient samurai would return from the mountains transformed, and the village would gather not because he announced his return, but because his presence demanded attention. He didn't need to speak about his training. His skill spoke for him. His discipline showed in every movement. His growth was evident in how he handled every situation. This is your model. This is your path. Change in silence for 60 days and let them notice later. Not because you're hiding, but because real power doesn't need to announce itself. It simply is. I've walked this path myself, and I can tell you that those 60 days changed everything for me. Not because I discovered some secret technique or magic formula, but because I finally understood that the noise in my life wasn't helping me grow. It was preventing it. Every time I announced a goal, I felt good for a moment, but lost the fire to actually pursue it. Every time I shared my progress, I was feeding off reactions instead of building real strength. When I committed to silence, to working when nobody was watching, to transforming without an audience, something inside me shifted permanently. I stopped being someone who talked about change and became someone who simply changed. And the strangest part? People noticed anyway. They felt the difference before they saw it. That taught me the most important lesson. Your energy speaks louder than your words ever will. If you're tired of starting over, if you're exhausted from performing your life instead of living it, try this. Disappear for 60 days. Not from life, but from the need to broadcast it. Build yourself in the quiet hours, let the world wonder, then return as proof that silent transformation is the most powerful kind. You don't need everyone to believe in this approach. You just need to try it once and see for yourself.